Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Super License F1 podcast. My name's Rod.
My name is still Zach, even after a winter break.
We're here, we're back. No new intro. I don't know why not. I just didn't get around to doing one. Whoops. We'll just use the last year's intro. That'll be fine. I'll change it. It'll be a special surprise. You'll have to watch every episode this year to see when I introduce new visuals.
That's a real, it's a real shift to we really pivoted to video if that's the case, Rod, because you can't just listen to see those new visuals. Oh, you can just, you know what? If you're listening to this in the traditional, if you're OG, you can just imagine new visuals every time.
If you listen to the podcast and can tell when I change the intro visuals, I'll send you a friggin' t-shirt.
You need to go to Professor X's school for whatever, for mutants, if you can sense the visual change. Good on you, though.
Excellent. Zach, it's so good to see your face and be ready to talk to your ears about F1 stuff.
I'm saving this. Have you just had a haircut like today? Because you are looking so sharp.
A week ago.
Oh, wow. It's growing in beautifully then. Yeah.
If you can believe it. Yeah, it's coming good. You know, the trick was, I swear to God, every single time I went to get my haircut, I would tell them exactly what I wanted and they would just do whatever they thought. And that happened to be the exact same thing. It's as if like the haircut academies are just churning out dudes who give dude cuts and they're all exactly the same. So I would go in and say, literally, I want it really short. And they would cut it way too long.
Yeah.
No, short, actually. Short. I wanted it short. I saw these pictures of Kimi Raikkonen and he had this really short hair and it just looked so cool. I was like, I want that for my summer cut.
Yeah.
Here we are at the end of summer and I almost got it.
Almost there.
But that was the key, going a little bit shorter.
Maybe they just don't understand the reference. I don't know how old these hairdressers are.
I said to them, like Mr. Raikkonen, and they just sort of blinked and I was like,
the
I'll take that as yes. Yeah, give me an Iceman cut. Give me the Iceman, like the Rachel from Friends.
Maybe you just don't know the lingo. Maybe you need to get updated on you need skin fade, these kinds of things. You need taper. You got to use the lingo for these young barbers.
Well, here's what I've learned. If you get a skin fade, it's like $60. If you get a number one on both sides, $30.
Yeah, so you're right.
Haircut hacks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I hope you're going well. Before we dive into F1 topics, any news to report? Any updates? Any life updates?
No big life updates. I'm just absolutely racking my brain. I was like, well, I got to see you, which was fun in real life.
Okay, let's get into that.
That was the main... Look, that was the highlight of the break, really. The winter break turned into a summer break because I got to come down to Australia and hang out with you. Also got to hang out with a few of the Boxer Neutrals boys as well. It was a real... Yes. I mean, that wasn't... You make it sound like a work trip that I really just came to talk to Formula One podcasters. Yeah. Oh, God, I wish, right? Did get to visit the old Albert Park, hit a few golf balls at Albert Park, which is always nice with my father. They were already setting up.
Just from the car park into the water.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Aiming for the yacht club.
No, I was aiming for the garages as well on the pit straight. The teams I don't like. I was like, here we
hit
go.
A swan, double points.
They were maybe already all gone. Well, if you don't know that, people might not know that, right? So Albert Park, man-made lake and running track, and it's got wildlife, lots of black swans, and they tag these swans so that every year when the race comes to town, they can take all those swans away. I don't know where they put them, or who's paying for that, but they put them somewhere, and then they put them back post-race.
I know a lot of the stuff for the Grand Prix, like the grandstands and the signage and stuff, gets put into shipping containers and they get parked who knows where, like miles away. But I know that those are empty while everything's set up, so maybe they're doing a switcheroo.
Straight swap.
Yeah.
I wonder if the swans think of it as a little holiday.
Well, they get one each. It's like a caravan park for swans.
Whoa. Man, I'm so into that. Why do we no white swans really in Melbourne? Odd. Anyway, it's because they're on the other side of the world. Only white swans in the Northern Hemisphere.
Anyway, we had a great hang, and I thought about hitting you up to say, hey, we should make some content. And then I was like, no, let's not do that. Let's enjoy the break. And I tell you, I have had a fantastic break. And I mean, it's not like I don't want to come back, and it's not like I don't want F1 back. But
Why do you hate F1?
It's more, a podcast switch. This is no longer a F1 podcast. It's that I wanted to make the most out of my break. And then now F1's back and I'm like, bang, let's go.
Yeah. I think Formula One during the season, can be a little bit like meals on holiday, which is that you're never quite hungry enough between them to really enjoy the next one. You know, if you're really not super active, if you're on a holiday and you're just having great food all the time, you're never really walking into dinner starving, right? But
It's true.
What the break should do, the season break should really get you hungry for some Formula One, and I'm starving. But it seems also have gone around really fast. I don't know what it is this time, but I feel like
Okay.
maybe it's because the season finished into December, right? We had
Yeah.
was in December, and then testing started in Feb.
Yeah.
To my mind, that's a couple of weeks.
There's one calendar month where there's no F1 at all.
Yeah, I
It's
feel like
crazy.
meme of that meme of it's two photos of a guy sitting back in the chair with the controller, and then he has to lean forward in the second shot. It's like, your free trial of 2025 is over. It's time to lock in. Like, that's really how it feels. Here we are.
Well, we've got a lot that we want to cover. So, talking about getting in and locking in, let's kick off with the first thing, which is a community-based thing, which we love our community. We have one of the best communities, albeit small and loyal. But one thing that we've been doing for absolutely donkey's years is F1 Fantasy. So, we're going to reboot F1 Fantasy yet again. If you've played before, the rules are all the same. If you've played before, I'm still rubbish. You got one guaranteed person that you'll beat, this guy.
This is it, right? Fantasy GP is the one we always use. If you've already used it before, if you've been there before, then all you need to do is activate your team. We'll reactivate the league as well. FantasyGP.com. We like it for their fun drawings of the drivers, which kind of look all similar, but it's very simple and it's free and it's fun. So there'll be a link on our socials, in our Discord, all that kind of stuff. If you haven't,
and lots of people make teams and they join different leagues, which you can do. So if you're a member of a different league and want to join our league, please feel free. You'll probably do very well. And if you have never heard of it but need the link, I can't. This is a verbal and visual medium. I can't put the link on your phone for you, but we will post it out on the threads and in the Discords.
So the important thing is to get in and sign up pre-season and get your team built. Otherwise, you'll just be behind and then you won't get involved. You want to get in there.
It's very important.
Yeah. And Rod told me before the show he's going to be so involved this year. He's going to be in there doing wild card changes, optimizing his team based on the cost of drivers. He's got some real interesting boys in there that I'm sure he can name all the rookies right now. I won't put him under that pressure just yet.
There you go. Well, look, big talk from you to me, but I guess I have to follow through now. I'm committed.
That's kind of what a podcast between two guys is. Big talk between me and you.
I suppose so. I've heard it said. One last thing before we actually, I guess, get into real F1 topics. This is something I put into the rundown, is that there's a little snack update. So this is something where I guess I feel like we together, but more specifically me, are on a bit of a charge to try all of the F1 driver things, drinks, foods, whatever we can get our hands on, really. I guess I'm mostly thinking of just things that are kind of passion projects for drivers, things that they're like, they could do anything. They're F1 drivers. They could do anything.
They've advertised it themselves.
What would they want to do?
Yes. Okay.
So it's not just them endorsing something. It's a thing that they had a hand in pulling
Some
together,
ownership.
maybe, for example.
Okay.
So what ones have we done? We did the Valtteri Bottas coffee beans, sampled them right here on this very show. Daniel Ricciardo red wine, sampled that right here on this show.
Full on.
Excellent clips of me chugging straight from the bottle on that one. But there's an exciting update, because in Australia for the Oz Grand Prix, Grilled is doing an Oscar Piastri burger. Have you seen this?
No, but oh man, it's the one chain that I miss the most. I love Grilled.
Oh, you do love Grilled. You were here one year and we ended up getting grilled.
Yeah, of course. I had Grilled twice while I was in Australia this year.
Oh, wow. Maybe for those watching the video, maybe I can share a photo of this.
Grilled is a burger chain.
Grilled is a burger chain. Oscar Piastri is a human man.
Yep. I think it's important to point out the spelling of Grilled as well. This is how you know it's funky and cool, because it's GRILL''D, Grilled.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So what I've got on the screen here for those watching is and maybe Zach can walk us through it visually, is the Oscar Piastri burger. What do you make of this?
Oh, wow. I would have gone the other way with the color combination. Okay. So this is a very dark burger bun. I would say maybe it's a charcoal burger bun.
It's a charcoal bun.
Yep, there we are. Whoa, I'm doing okay so far. Charcoal burger bun with quite orange seeds on the top and a lot of maybe even papaya colored ingredients. Is there a bit of carrot slaw? Maybe I can see poking out the side
carrot,
there.
Yeah.
I was going to say slide.
That's,
and then
that's where the black and orange papaya mostly comes from.
Yeah, perfect. That makes a lot of sense. And then you've got an orange kombucha in the background there. I can't see what's really inside the burger.
This is organic kombucha. It's wild berry flavored.
I thought it was orange. I can't quite. No. It's hard to read.
Wild berry. So I went with the wild berry because it comes in a combo where you get the burger, the chips, and I think you get a blood orange something, not this, but blood
Like
orange,
San
something else.
Pellegrino, something like
Yeah.
that.
Now I get that like blood orange is on brand as orange. I get it. Believe me, I get it.
But kind of
But at the
not,
same
because the blood orange
time,
is red. Like
it's true.
inside. That's kind of the point.
And I felt would not go well with a burger
No.
at lunchtime, so I did not go for that. But no,
What flavor?
smash the
Tell me
burger.
more about the burger.
It's got chipotle mayo, which is very lovely.
Orange.
Some, I mean, it's got burger patty, cheese.
Is it beef?
Lettuce. Yeah, it's beef. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's 100% Aussie beef. A bit like Oscar Piastri himself.
Mm.
And unfortunately, I'm here to report, unfortunately, this is a 6 out of 10 burger.
What's your go-to usually at grilled then? Like, what's your 8 or 9 out of 10?
Fantastic question. I love it. It's very simple, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. The mustard and pickled.
Oh, good. Yes.
Because it's got mustard and pickles in it. And you eat them and you go, yep, this has mustard and pickles in it.
I mean, the burgers are great. The chips are amazing. The rosemary salt chips are...
That's true.
They're banging. Grilled, if you ever want to just do anything with us, we'll pay you.
Sponsor us.
Oh, man. Super License brought to you by Grilled. I'd change the branding.
So the things that let this burger down mostly are the carrot and the charcoal burger, I'm afraid to say. So the things that make it, the papaya and black, it's a pass from me. I mean, unfortunately, I was thinking, if you took those things away, this would be a good burger, but then it would just be every other burger, right? So it's like, I see what you were trying to do. I just wasn't a fan.
No.
Anyway.
Oh, well. Would you prefer, if you had to go down a different route, if you're going to try to marry up your burger preferences with a Formula One team in the same design style of this burger, what would you...
retrofitting my favorite burger to an F1 team?
Yeah. What did you say? Mustard and pickle.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yellow and green. Oh,
it's probably
man.
Steak.
It's
probably steak F1.
Steak's very good. The green's in there. I think it's almost like the green and yellowness of this, that feels kind of Jordan to me, or even Jaguar. The Jaguar burger, I feel like, would be your game.
Jaguar, yeah. What was do you have a favorite burger, or do you just slop around the menu?
Slop around the menu.
Slishing that way. Today some lamb, tomorrow some chicken, give me some beef.
So there's beautiful Wagyu burgers whilst I was at home from the premium menu. They were all really nice. Can't go the bacon cheeseburgery one is always nice. But I like the and if you're feeling somewhat healthier, chicken Caesar. That little piece of chicken's yum. So yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, Mighty Melbourne's always good as well, but it's like a fish and chip
Mighty
shop
Melbourne.
So good.
I'll tell you the other problem with every grilled burger they ever make. The secret ingredient that they don't list is that it's 50% water. A moist burger.
Every
single time I have to get 2 serviettes, put them down on my plate, because I will sit there eating my burger and it's just like a fountain will fall out of the burger. And not even, if I just leave the plate, it will splash so much that my shirt will get covered. I need serviettes.
Need a chicken one then. I think you'd be better off with the chicken. Fewer vegetables, perhaps. I don't know. Maybe stop ordering. Yeah, I mean, pickles
before you make
real wet. Mustard and pickle together goes really wet. That's a juicy burger. Anyway,
I'm
come
the
here for
victim
full-time
here, okay?
burger chat.
Jeez. All right, you ready for some real hardcore F1 chat though?
So hardcore.
I don't know. I jotted down some of these things, and feel free. Like if some of these are 30 seconds and some of them are 5 minutes, that's fine. But there was, for the first time ever, a history-making event, F1 Live at the O2 Arena in London. Were you there? What was it like? Take us there.
Yep,
Where
I
were you
was there.
sitting?
Just like right at the back. I met Jerry Halliwell, Emma Bunton. Wait, I might have just been at the Spice Girls.
I met Emma Bunton. Oh, whoops, I was at the wrong thing.
That's a way spicier event. My favorite thing about this whole thing is that whatever Formula One, how am I going to phrase this without burning our friends in the F1 journalist community and influencer community?
Just do it. It never stops me.
Yeah. I think everyone really wants this to be a thing, because I think that people who are into Formula One in this way want it to be an event. Like, people want Formula One to be an event more often, because actual race weekends can feel sometimes like they're an event, but at the same time kind of blurred because you've got practice and qualifying, and it's just like, so by the time the actual event comes around, like, yes, 2 hours of racing, but then like a lot of that is not as exhilarating either. So having like a big launch, collectively put it together, the season it's a good idea, because before then it's always been this kind of higgledy-piggledy. Without this event, it's higgledy-piggledy teams doing kind of their own events at odd times, sometimes at cross purposes, putting out media. It doesn't feel consolidated. So doing this consolidates it, and like, hey, Formula One is here, we're back. But all of the kind of F1 reporting journalistic community had basically the all 7.5 out of 10 responses to it. Like, great effort, really liked it, bit to improve on. We should keep doing this though. Like, they're really behind it as an idea, but it didn't really hit.
That was my thing. It was like a 2-hour event or something, and I wanted to make a little video about it, but I didn't want to watch the whole 2 hours, so I sort of sped run through it. And I'd seen some clips of like highlights or lowlights, whatever, depending on your perspective.
Lights.
There were some lights there. And I think generally I was on the lookout for takes about it. Overwhelmingly, people who were there thought it was amazing, and overwhelmingly people watching thought it was lackluster. And I think if you're watching on a live stream or TV, we can call it TV, even though what's TV these days? If you're watching at home, it seems like a wasted opportunity to have all these drivers, all of these personalities in the same room, and it felt squandered. It didn't feel like it was maximized. And then if you're in the room, there was a lot of pre-recorded clips and things like filler, things like, here's 10 minutes of the history of Formula One rivalries. Like, we're here to see the fucking cars.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It just, if I was sitting there and that was just like looking up at a screen for more than half of the show, I would be really fucking annoyed. So I just think that that balance is way off. Turn it into a proper good live event. And it's salvageable, but I thought this was a bit of a miss.
But all of any event that relies upon reveal after reveal after reveal, it turns into like the opening ceremony of the Olympics. Like, and it's like, and here's the team. Yep, that's
there's
them.
the team. Here's
and
the
then
next
like
team.
we're gonna get and so
Here
you
they
just
are.
Should they just rattle through and just have all the cars drive across the stage at the start, or do a loop around the arena? That'd be really good. Quick shakedown so everybody can see everything. Make it eventy. They'll work it out. Maybe they'll just change the format, change half of it every year. That'd be cool. You know, get some more musical guests. This kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But no, it didn't really hit with me. There was not enough in it to make me want to follow up any of the information. Like, I didn't feel like that it was all catch-upable stuff, and really I wanted to see the act. Like, if I cared about just the liveries, I would go and look at all the images posting. Then you see it all testing.
I mean, you can see the highlights on TikTok or whatever. Someone like you would, I wouldn't, because I'm on TikTok, so I don't get it. But
you've still got a television. So,
but you can see the highlights in 5 minutes and feel like you didn't really miss anything. And there was a lot of humor that didn't work for me. And I thought there were scripted jokes that were bad. And it's like, there's no excuse for scripted jokes being bad. You improvise something on the day and it's bad, fine. But some of the scripted stuff was no good.
I don't think people like to talk about this, but the fact that it's a nerd sport, Rod. It's full of dweebs. This Formula One game. It's a nerdy engineering kind of, like 80% of people attached to Formula One are here to make things like find the minute percentage detail change in how a car will go faster or be a little bit lighter or
how to make a burger better.
This is it, right? Like, there's all this stuff, and so like that's the baseline we're working from. Very serious people who are quite nerdy about aerodynamics and engineering and flex and even the branding stuff. And so that's us all the time, full time. I really want to talk about exactly how the new DRSs work. No, not at all. But if that's the baseline you're working from, then they're not traditionally the entertainment industry, right? In other sports, people have a little bit more personality because they can. And the people attached to those sports are not always as like dyed-in-the-wool formula, like dyed-in-the-wool, like down in the nitty-gritty of the sport, like where the real detail is. And I think the Formula One's kind of full of people like that. And you can see it with like, I think the simplest example of this is Martin Brundle pit walks. Like, no one knows who he is. And the stars that are there are kind of like, this is a fun, like, little event, isn't it? Like, Formula One, big sport, but like, I'm kind of here and this is good, but I don't really know much about it. And it's not like fun, vibey stadium energy. So I think the Formula One's always going to struggle with that. It's always going to feel a little bit like, maybe, you know what, the overall thing, Rod, it felt like an awards show, and I don't watch them.
And it wasn't helped by the fact, and this was called out by the host on the night, that like 9 out of the 10 liveries are the same liveries as last year. So
Yeah.
that sort of links us into the next bit. And we normally talk about liveries. We're the livery guys. I like to say that of all the guys who cover the preseason stuff, we're the ones
Yeah.
that focus the most attention on the
King's of
liveries.
livery. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
because the better the livery is, it adds, it takes off 2/10
Exactly right. This is
easily.
Easily. Ready for your livery delivery? All I want from you, Rod,
Yeah.
is best one, worst one, most underwhelming. Worst and underwhelming are not the same.
Do you want to go one by one where we
Yeah.
both have a go at each category,
Yeah.
or do you want me to rapid fire them all off?
No. Let's go let's go together.
Best one?
Yeah, let's start best one. You hit me with the best one, your favorite, best, however you want to interpret best. You tell me.
Racing Bulls.
Yeah, man, it's so good.
They always
Why
get it right.
though? They do always get it right.
It's nice looking and it's not the same as last year.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
I don't know why, and it's the most obviously logoed and like all this stuff, but maybe just because it looks like a Formula One car. I don't know.
Yes. And I'm not trying to do something and then failing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. What was what was the next category?
I just want to stick with the red Racing Bulls ones though, just quickly, because I think it's because they're unmoored from having to always be the same, because all the other teams have to, like Ferrari always has to be red, Red Bull Racing always has to be that dark navy-ish kind of blue now, whereas Racing Bulls is like, we've rebranded ourselves every 2 years for the last 10 years, so let's just have different colors. And I think the white is underdone. Not enough teams use the white anymore. I don't really know why. It's really odd. But yeah, that was the last thing I was going to say about it. Other categories. Let's go worst straight away. Do you want to go there? Steak. Yeah, I could get around steak. Yeah,
I think famously, I hate it, and you don't mind it.
I don't mind it.
I think you like.
Tell me more about why you think it's bad.
Such a green. Green is such a hard color to get right, and they've just gone with their brand green, and it just feels like you just slapped it on a car. But bro, it doesn't always work that way.
Yeah. It's not a nice green for racing, but at least
green.
At least you know that it's them.
Well, I know that it's them because they're coming last.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't know. Do we have other categories where I can bag out other cars? Otherwise,
yeah, most underwhelming. Most underwhelming is the last category.
Ferrari.
Yeah. What do you want them to do, huh? Like,
make a nice looking car?
You don't.
I want them to go to HP and say, "Look, we know you're paying us $500 gajillion a year. How about half of that, but we use a nicer looking version of your logo?"
Yeah, HP had that really cool rebrand where they cut off where the connector of where the like H connects and where the P connects to itself, and it was like 4 dashes.
Yeah.
And
that would look better.
It would look way cooler, but then people wouldn't know it's HP. Like, also, who cares? Thanks, HP. But like, who is thinking about Hewlett Packard other than printers?
What the problem Ferrari have is there's just so many logos on the car, and they're so jarring, and they're so in contrast with their whole vibe. Yeah,
they have to though, because like that's the only way this team runs for them is making sure there's loads of money. Whereas Racing Bulls gets to do just like here's 4 sponsors because we are a team that is
Ferrari's
for the money. Yeah,
Ferrari's got a very expensive driver to pay for.
Yeah, exactly.
Hamilton payment is what HP stands for.
Yeah. Speaking of sponsors, did you see the Lululemon stuff with Hamilton? Is that right?
Tell me more about that.
I just want to make sure I've got it right. That it is Lululemon doing it. Yeah, Lewis Hamilton joins Lululemon as its newest ambassador. They did this really cool brand thing where all they did was they had his, the Lewis Hamilton logo. What is it? Like it's like it's the little. Do you know what I'm talking about?
So isn't it sort of like wings almost?
Yeah, kind of like wings, but also like maybe the nose of an animal. I don't know. It's hard to put together, but they had that on TikTok, and then like they were like flickering that with the Lululemon logo, and that was it. And you were like, oh, and then so like he's a big enough brand on his own to make that happen with Lululemon. So now he's doing all of it's all like a Lewis Hamilton workout gear stuff, which is actually a cool activation, and that's cool and good for them. But I don't think it's tied to Ferrari in any way because I don't see any stretchy gym gear on the car at all being advertised. But
so you're gonna get some?
Maybe. I've heard their leggings are good. I need some good yoga type things. So maybe some Hamilton branded stuff.
What are you waiting for? Are you waiting to see whether he does okay at Ferrari, or if he bombs, you're not going to get it? Like, I don't want to fucking lose. I don't want to be associated with this guy. I'm just asking questions.
I want to see how ripped he is first. I want to see him. With that race suit half. You know when they take the top half off and they just got the white
down.
When they're peeled, banana peel. Yeah. No, I'm with you on the Ferrari. I hate that white stripe. I'm glad more of the black is gone, but I wish it was more yellow and red as opposed to white and red. Underwhelming. Done.
There was that promise of using the Ferrari blue, and they haven't really. And it's like, well, maybe it's time. Honestly, maybe it's time for a big swing and to switch.
Yeah. I don't know why they just don't have 2 different colored cars every weekend as well. That'd be really cool. Like have a red one and a blue one. So we can tell the drivers apart as well. Maybe they don't
rule about that, but yeah, okay. They could switch from red to blue every other weekend.
Yeah, that's true. I also wonder about the stake branding on the Kick Sauber because stake are in like their gambling license has been taken off them in the UK. They're a really murky organization. So
oh yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I mean they won't be able to. I mean, I think gambling. There's like, is it 60% of races or something? You can't have gambling advertising. Some weird number.
Maybe we'll get the cool Marlboro barcodes like we used to get on the Ferraris then. Before they got Mission Winnow.
Everyone's pointing that out.
Yeah, exactly. One final shout out for the cars. Nice big Australian brand Atlassian on the Williams. Finally, a nice Australian ties.
It's a good fit.
Yeah, it is a good fit. See, that's a brand that we don't need you to totally rebrand the whole car. Just have Atlassian written on it, and it's your normal Williams blue. Don't worry about it. I don't know what the play there is though. Like, I don't know what Atlassian get from that or how much they're having to pay for that. What, they're talking to all the Scrum Masters out there?
I mean, I don't know if you're watching the hit TV show Severance, but the official podcast is sponsored by Confluence, by Atlassian.
Oh.
So they're getting out and around. Don't worry about it.
They really are. Maybe they could sponsor this show. Anyway, that's the liveries. Looking forward to seeing. Look, the McLaren's underwhelming for me because it's not orange enough. It's too black. Lame, but good job racing bulls. Looking forward to seeing Isaac Hadjar at the back of the grid driving around in the white car.
Hadjar, white car. That's how you remember it.
That's the only way.
Do you want to go rookies first, or do you want to go through the whole driver lineup just to refresh our memories? And people who might be new to the sport.
Okay, stop looking at your screen. Tell me who the rookies are.
Is it possible that there's one called Bortoletto?
There's a Bortoletto, a fine vintage of Bortoletto tonight.
Hadjar.
Yep.
Mr. Behrman.
Yeah, I love that you're only going surnames. That you're only backing your
And then then it starts to get really like what counts as do you count doing? He's done a race. Do you count Liam Lawson? He's done like 11 races or something.
Yeah. What was the joke that came up in testing that if you count Liam Lawson, you essentially have to count Karan Chandok as well. Like if he entered Formula One, like said it to his face too. He's like, if he's a rookie, then they've got the same amount of race starts, I think.
Well, I don't know. How are you feeling about the rookies? You got a rookie that you're excited about?
Do I have a rookie that I'm excited about? Yeah, probably Jack Doohan. I think he's going to have a rough
Jack Doohan,
spot
obviously.
there. Yeah,
is the sort of Damocles is sort of dangling over Jack Doohan, so he's got to do well, hey?
Yeah, I think he does.
That's really...
Yeah.
Like, we're all hoping that he does well for that reason.
Yeah, but having an amazing driver sitting in the back, sitting in the garage behind you, and everyone really loves Colapinto. Like, it's a real shame that there's not room for Colapinto on the grid somewhere. It just seems like a lot of randoms. And I know that makes me sound old, but
it does.
The pathway into Formula One now really is just like, hey, you got that money though, and you were okay in the previous one. Like everyone's hunting around for their next Max Verstappen. Like Antonelli is good, Liam Lawson is good, Hadjar is good, Doohan is good. Like they're all fine. but are they all like amazing? And do they? They're all at. Maybe it's just because I think that Formula One's come down to like it really is only 3 teams right now that are really good, and so it doesn't really matter. All the other guys can just be all those other random teams, and it doesn't really matter. But really, when you look through the grid now, Rod, who is the strongest lineup?
I'm trying to. I've spent nearly 5 minutes furiously Googling. It's so hard, it turns out, to find a full lineup image.
What, you just go to f1.com/Ian/teams. I'm looking at
anyway. Well, I was going to bring one up on screen, but okay, whatever you want.
Yeah, here you are. Bring it up on screen. That one. Just send it in the private chat. There you are.
Private chat. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 second, please.
That's really private.
Okay. Well, yeah. So we've done this in previous years because we needed something to do in the preseason show, but like a way to talk about drivers that's like a reminder for us, and this is what you've sent me. This is like 100 million scrolls rather than one screen that just has everything on it. So I'm gonna overrule that and try and use my thing. Oh, this is horrible as well. Gosh, this is a shambles.
It's okay. We're doing it live.
Back to your screen. Look, we tried to think like, nicknames or like two truths and a lie, but I don't know. I feel like we'll be doing pretty well if we can remember all the drivers.
I think it's important to try to come up with that ad for Vistaprint, I reckon.
That's another thing I like doing, whether we do live streams or bring things up in the podcast, is call out and talk more about the ads.
What ad have you got? I've got Canada Goose.
The good thing about Vistaprint is they do real cheap business cards.
That is good. Yeah. Good for them.
Low quality, but that's okay.
I think we need nicknames for all the new drivers, right?
Okay,
so Jackie Doo is my one for Jack Doohan.
And there's no overruling. Whoever gets in first, that's the nickname.
You could do Doohan Solo.
Parental guidance, Gasly.
He's not new. You don't need one for everyone. We'll be here all day.
What are the rules?
The rules are
Alpine.
The broad classification of rookie.
Okay. So Alpine, Pierre Gasly, Jack Doohan. I mean, as we said, all eyes are probably on Doohan, especially how he measures up against Pierre Gasly.
It could be a what are you? What are you?
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing this weekend? I don't know. What are you doing?
Watching the Grand Prix, obviously. Lance Stroll, he's definitely not a rookie. How old is Lance Stroll, Rod? I'm going to Google it. I think we do this every few months. Tell me.
28?
Lance Stroll age.
I feel like last 26. Time we did this, I nailed it.
He's 26.
Of course, he's bloody 26.
God. I feel like he's been in racing for ages.
25 years.
Yeah, he's going to be turning 27 this year.
But lining up alongside him, the rookie Fernando Alonso. Very exciting to see how this young chap goes.
Oh, man. When's he going to give it up? Ferrari, strongest on the grid. This is it.
Easily the strongest lineup on the grid. Like, by a country mile, by a metro mile.
Metro mile. Exactly.
Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton with their pretty mid livery. Yeah,
it's a shame about their mid livery, but I'm sure that they'll bring great looks. The drivers bring great looks to the grid every week.
I hope so.
It's going to be great. Oliver Bearman. He's a rookie enough that you can give me a nickname for Bearman.
What about Mayorban? First thing I thought of.
Mayorban.
It's no good.
Bearman.
What about all of these nuts for Bearman? Like, I'm running on empty if it's not clear.
You really are. I don't know. It's good though.
What's their online thing? I keep. It's like Team OB, but I keep going. What's Team Mob?
Yeah, Team Mob.
But it's Team OB. But I go like, what Team Mob? Are they a mob? But it's about tea. I don't understand.
The OB man.
Some new thing that I'm not across.
Drop Bear Man. No, he's not Australian. No,
Drop Bear Man.
Yeah.
Well, if he wins in Australia or get points, he might be Drop Bear Man.
Yeah. Hey, boo boo. That was my. Yeah, Boo Boo Bearman's good. Thank you.
Okay, Boo Boo Bearman. The thing everybody wants to do: Kick Sauber, Nico Hulkenberg, Gabriel Bortoleto.
Bortoleto. I just can't get past the fact that it sounds kind of like
cheese.
Or wine. A
For a
fine,
wine.
fine vintage 2025 Bortoletto. Bortoletto.
Gotta let that breathe when you open that one.
Gotta let him breathe. That's it. If he's not doing well in his first few races, you got to forgive him because he hasn't had time to breathe.
I feel like we could stretch out the wine puns for the entire season.
So yeah, for me, he's vintage Bortoletto.
Vintage. That overtake was a vintage Bortoletto.
Absolutely vintage Bortoletto.
Keep moving.
Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris. They're
Now,
aged drivers.
aged. Is this the second best driver lineup?
Yeah.
I mean, Max and Lawson.
Or is the car just really good?
These days, what's the difference?
Yeah, true. Yeah. I would say so. Oh, it's hard to tell. I mean, it's not the most experienced. It is good though. Yeah, because everyone's paired, like all the pairings, like one good guy, one random guy.
Right. But with these guys, it's not. No one's really random. They're both kind of handy.
They're both very handy. I mean, when you get down to Williams, you kind of go like, well, Albon's pretty handy, and Carlos Sainz is really good. So, on aggregate,
maybe then.
But no, I think I think Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris is probably the second best lineup. Antonelli's pretty good as well, but we just haven't seen enough of it. We might think differently at the end of the season when we've had a Russell Antonelli whole season, that we start to say, well, yeah, pretty good. I mean, maybe worst lineup could be the Racing Bulls though. Best looking car, maybe worst lineup. That's a real shame.
It could be. Isaac Hadjar, like I'm sure Isaac Hadjar's good, but
yeah,
I can't get excited about him. And Yuki Tsunoda is a known quantity, but just feels like if things don't fire for him soon, he'll be phoning it in, I reckon.
Look, Formula One has to have a midfield and back markers, and Yuki Tsunoda has a bit of the Hulkenbergs about him. You know, that some drivers are just like that. You know, he might just be in Formula One for a while, doing the Lance Stroll Hulkenberg twist.
He might be. Look, stranger things have happened.
Hey, you can't just scroll past Hadjar. We didn't come up with a nickname for him. Come on.
Oscar Isaac Hadjar.
Oscar Isaac Hadjar. Oh, I love Oscar Isaac. Yeah. Have mug instead of Hadjar.
Fucking hell. Isaac. Sorry, iCarly Hadjar. I nearly Hadjar. That's it.
Hadjar. Yeah, almost Hadjar. Almost. I like almost. I like vintage Bortoletto and I like almost Hadjar.
Almost Hadjar.
Yeah. That's what he'd be saying every time he mucks up an overtake. Doesn't tries to take the racing line.
Almost media.
Yep.
That's what he says. Red Bull Racing, Max Verstappen, that guy, Liam Lawson, this other new guy, sort of.
Liam Lawless. Really. More like he doesn't play by your rules.
Well, I'll tell you, based on the season of Drive to Survive that's just come out that I haven't watched, he's not very popular. People are not digging his vibe at all.
Yeah, no one likes the cocky person who has nothing to back it up yet.
It's kind of true.
You know, you can't rule. I mean, he is a Red Bull though. This is what I mean by these lineups. Like, it's just this guy. Like, if you look down the list now, I could name 5 other drivers who'd be better fit for that Red Bull seat. Even Yuki Tsunoda, I feel like would be a better driver for that Red Bull seat.
Yeah, very notably. I think the funny thing also is that people who are like, oh, bloody Liam Lawson, who does he think he is? Like, mistreating Chico Perez and then costing Chico Perez the seat. It's like, bro, Chico Perez cost himself the seat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, even though he paid up front for it. Still no good.
Williams?
Nah. I really want to get into what you think Williams is going to be like this year, because there's been a lot of love for this James Vowles team of like, wow, they're so good. And like, they've really been going about their work correctly. And they're really turning it around.
I want them to be good.
I
want them to do well. Good driver lineup. Very likable.
Yeah. Where are we with Alex Albon now? But on the Super License podcast, he is likable.
I feel like when he went to Red Bull, we were behind him and we supported him for longer than a lot of other people did.
Yeah.
And then he sort of went elsewhere and did well, and we were like, "Oh, good on you!" But you're also at a team that's coming last, so it's hard to really judge. So I don't know. Where do we sit? We're not against.
It's good that it's going to be good for us to someone to watch this season.
Good for us.
It's going to be really good for us, the viewing public, for him to have a really good driver next to him.
Yeah.
Because he's had some real shit munchers in that garage next door. Some real you'll never hear them again kind of drivers. Names you can't even remember. And so
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Maybe Nicholas somebody. I don't know. Can't even remember.
God, yeah. There's some real crap ones. I'm sure they're amazing drivers. Better than me. That's always has to be said. Much better than me.
Is Carlos Sainz going to be the guy that like sparks what they need?
Yeah, I think he'll get more out of Alex Albon. I think we should Albon's more secure in himself these days. I don't think he goes in with a number one driver energy. I think he goes in a thank God I'm in Formula One energy. And I think him and Carlos will be nice and fun. And I think they're going to be quick. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how quickly Carlos adapts to this car. A crap car. And one day we'll be like, oh no, I haven't been in one of these since I was at Renault.
Here's a question. Do you think either of these drivers thrive under competitive circumstances, or do you think it's not their ideal working circumstance?
I think we saw Carlos thrive with Leclerc. I think that's really good from Carlos. Like when he's challenged a little bit, I think he'll probably perform better. I think Alex will perform better as well. I think it adds a certain level of professionalism to Williams again, a little bit of luster added back to that brand. And they're like, we've got Carlos Sainz and also Alexander Albon, we've got two Red Bull program dropouts. Maybe we'll be good. So
yeah, what's not to like? Two Red Bull rejects. What's not to like? What's not to be excited about? I mean, that undercuts the point I was about to make, which is I think Carlos Sainz going to that team really could breed a lot of hope and belief.
Yeah,
belief in themselves.
Enough to keep him there for more than one season.
I don't think him staying there is. I mean, I think him wanting to leave is the bigger problem, but it'll depend on what the team can do.
Yeah, I think that's right. Do you want to take this energy and pivot it into some thoughts about the season, or do you want to hit off some? Why don't we come back to that? Put a pin in the drivers and teams, and why don't you tell me? I mean, you said to me before the show that you had set aside an entire day to watch all of Drive to Survive, and then you did literally anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I meant to, but then what I actually did was I got a haircut instead. So whoops, forgot.
Why are we so soured on this show now, Rod? What happened?
It's not good, mostly.
Why?
Well, the takes are coming out, and here's what I can tell you, and I have not seen the show. Here's what I can tell you what's wrong with it. They feature George Russell finishing first in Belgium, but you might remember he got disqualified from that race and he didn't win. But they don't mention that. And they focus a lot on Christian Horner, which people like. It's making a lot of people like
there's all the
literally physically wretch.
Yeah,
not just the controversial. That's the first episode, but then also just everything else.
And then it all just went away, Rod. That was so easy. There was just a little bit of controversy, and then it all just went away, and it wasn't a big problem. Okay.
Well, that's kind of it. Like, so then why make a whole episode out of it? But also, he's apparently through it. Like, every possible controversy that there is in the series, apparently they inject him, like bring him in.
Yeah.
There's a very controversial episode about Miami where Lando Norris wins, and they intercut reactions of drivers congratulating Norris and hugging him with Max Verstappen sitting in the corner looking very sour and upset. And it turns out what they've done is splice together two different races, one from the Dutch Grand Prix and one from Miami Grand Prix, which is they're not the same race, bro. So you can't cut them together to make it out as if. So there's just some real shithousery shit going on, and I mean, I really think it's crossed the line, and I'm seeing a lot more reaction online now from people who watch Formula One saying, "I'm so close to just never watching the show again," which is that's pretty much just where I'm at.
It's very weird, right? That maybe that doesn't matter to people. Maybe they're like, yeah, but it's just telling the story of like they just needed reaction shots of him looking glum because he was glum. So go and grab them from anywhere. But you can't have your cake and eat it too in these circumstances. You can't be like, this is a documentary series about this show, about Formula One, and this is all real, and this is all what happened. but then it's just becoming more and more disassociated from reality.
When you take something that's mundane and everyday and then heighten it, that's kind of like that's what you expect from reality TV. But when you take something that's already a spectacle and then you bring it up to the same level, but you actually change what happened, I just feel like that's not right. And then one of the points that people are making online about the show is like, you're a diehard F1 fan. It's not for you. It is for normies who don't follow F1, and it's about getting them interested in F1. But there's a problem with that because I went to Netflix's website today, and here's what they say. This is on the Netflix.com website. What is Formula One Drive to Survive Season 7 about? If you're new to the sport or a diehard fan, Season 7 will keep you on the edge of your seat. They're not just marketing it to newbies. They're marketing it to everybody, but it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
So it's bad.
I wonder if also the landscape has changed a little bit. What about this? The 7th season. The first season. We've talked about this before. The first couple of seasons were really interesting because it genuinely gave us an insight into Formula One that you couldn't get before. These teams were more closed than they were, and all this kind of stuff. And I think that the effect that it's had, and Liberty Media's ownership of Formula One has had, is that it has changed how open the teams are. And I think more of this stuff just plays out. And I think the journalism around Formula One has changed so that there is more talk about what is happening at these teams and why. And a lot of the behind the scenes stuff is more out there in the world live anyway. So by the time Drive to Survive comes out, the stories I've already got the conclusion of. Like it doesn't add enough to me to make me go like, oh man, I really can't wait to learn about how Blur, like there's no more albums left in this band unless they radically change their sound. And I don't think they can. I don't think that none of the teams are really going to also then let their guards down around how they want to talk about any controversy that's actually interesting.
Part of me wonders, because we used to be quite positive on the show, and I think a lot of people were, and a lot of those people that were positive on the show are no longer positive on the show. It still seems to be working. You're always hearing about people who are like, I watched Drive to Survive, I got hooked on the sport, then I started watching the sport. But what I'm hearing more is once you go through that continuum, what you end up doing is going, I know the sport, can't wait to watch Drive to Survive about it. And you watch it and you go, this sucks. This isn't actually what happened. And it doesn't even do a good job anymore of capturing the actual drama that really happened. It focuses more on the manufactured drama, which I just think ultimately that's maybe not such a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. I think there's a lot of Formula One in the world as well. Now, it's not something you can deal at.
But the question I'm asking myself, which is where I started, was we used to like it and now we don't. Has the show changed or have we changed? And it might be a bit of both. But I genuinely think the show is different now than it used to be. It was always that they always put in a few little things that covered over the cracks. But now it's like, let's introduce some big cracks and then point at them and go, oh, look how big that crack is.
Yeah, I think the novelty's worn off of the people involved in the show. And so now it's like, okay, you need to collect this stuff. You're looking for a reaction to me to make this story into something. I'm going to be more closed about those feelings. And when you have to do 10 episodes that are all 45 minutes, you have to make something happen, or 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it is. You have to make those things into something. So they must sit there at the end of the year and they're like, shit, okay, what are the stories? Like, what are the big battles? And there was already a little bit of that in the first couple of seasons where you're like, oh, wow, I suppose you're highlighting something here that I didn't pay that much attention to during the season, which was, this middle ranking team and their battle between their two drivers, or like, this battle for the lower end of the grid. And like, I felt like the show highlighted more of that, but then they really leaned into the like, well, actually people want to hear from Lewis Hamilton and they want to hear from, Christian Horner, and we'll just highlight the big names and, have Will Buxton explain how the sport works.
Another criticism of this season that I've seen, and again, I haven't seen it, but they're like, it features like 3 of the teams and 6 of the drivers. And you see a lot of them and really not much of the other. And that was always one of the strengths of it, is there's 10 episodes. There's time and room to go and hang out with Alpine for a weekend. And I mean, I think they do, but it's also like, what story are you going to tell? And is it going to be one that's worth telling? And is it going to be something interesting that we don't already know? Probably not.
Yeah, and I think that's what's missing. There's not as much of that anymore as interesting stories that we're not hearing about. So yeah, sorry, Drive to Survive. I hope you go through about. I mean, I saw some interesting data the other day on The rest is entertainment. One of those kinds of podcasts where they were saying that all of the shows that Netflix tried to make about other sports because Drive to Survive success have failed. Every single one. The one about tennis, the one about golf, the one about, I don't know, everything else. They're all just, no one cares. And so I wonder if this love affair of this style of show, it works really well because it comes out just before the season. It can go on. You can look at your phone whilst it's on. You can fast forward through the episodes where you don't care about it. Great. And if you really like it, I'm so glad it exists for you. Because I'd rather have it in the world than not. But if it continues to move further away from reality, then it's not even documentary anymore. It's, as you said, Formula One, the soap.
Yeah, and it would always walk the line with one foot in each camp. But I mean, they're kind of getting close to just jumping 2 feet in the reality TV.
It's not exactly investigative journalism anymore, is it? It's not documentary making. It's not documentary filmmaking.
No, not really. Well, okay. Well, there's our take on Drive to Survive. Sorry.
Having not watched it.
I hope they change it and turn it around, then I'll start watching it again. Anything from testing? Testing happened. It was a whole ass thing, and all the cars, they went round and round, and the drivers went vroom vroom. And I don't really know what I always just, everyone says for every year that I've watched Formula One, everyone's like, don't put any stock in the testing times. So I don't. But then what I feel like everybody else does is they pay so much attention and they make notes and they compare all the testing times and the sectors and the tires and the runs that they were doing. And I feel like people think they know stuff and I feel like I don't. But at the same time, again, I've been told just ignore all that. Just chuck it all in the bin because it means nothing until we get to Albert Park. So I zoned out. I zoned it out, and I still feel like it'll just be Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren.
Yeah. I think that there were some stories to watch out for, which is that how quickly will Hamilton get to know this car? Because I think that I've seen a few Formula One commentators, journalists, insiders say that, who was it? Who is the strategist on the Sky commentary? Whose name?
Bernie Collins or someone else.
Bernie Collins, thank you. Yeah, I can never remember anybody's names. I can barely remember Brundle and Croft. Bernie Collins, the best. Man, geez, get her comment. Just so good. But she said this really simple point, well made, which is that Lewis Hamilton hasn't driven anything but a Mercedes power unit basically his entire career. And so how this Ferrari works fundamentally is different across the board. Brakes, steering, power delivery, the KERS system, and even how the DRS feels. Like, all of this stuff is fundamentally different for him. So it was interesting to see how he would, like, how quickly is he going to acclimatize? Because the car also changes too. Like, you know, there's all this other stuff. But he's lucky, I suppose. We're at the end of the formula, so there's not a huge amount of change coming this season.
I guess so. The Boffins were pointing out little things like, oh, Lewis has this button on his steering wheel. Leclerc has that button doing this other thing. And I was like, okay, well, I hope the car goes fast.
Well, Lewis obviously has a T button and Leclerc has an espresso button. It's just how it goes. It's a cultural difference, right?
Ice cream button.
When go to Milan this weekend, maybe I could get his ice cream.
Get some. There you go. Get on the board and get some lek.
Yeah, gotta get some lek.
I'm seeing more of it, like on social media.
Really?
I'm seeing more and more of it. So it must be becoming more easy to get a hold of.
Well, I mean, I'll definitely be going to Grom, so I'll see if I can get some.
Yes. What was I going to say about the car? Oh, yeah. So coming to that idea that Lewis has never driven anything other than a Mercedes power unit. For years and years and years, the whole thing with Ferrari was that they were like fast engine and high drag, and everyone else was like, no, what you want to do, fast through the corners, and then take that pain on the straight. And Ferrari were like, no. So I do wonder. Obviously, everybody's going to have to change a little bit if this whole thing's going to work. The team's going to have to change a little bit. Hamilton's definitely going to have to change a little bit, but also Leclerc's going to have to change a little bit, which I wonder how that will start to go, especially if Hamilton, for example, comes in and requests a few changes and he starts doing very well and Leclerc doesn't. Are the team going to be like, more changes because we're paying this guy like $1 bajillion? Or are they going to be like, let's dial it back and get Leclerc in the party as well?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see if this is if Ferrari trying to one and done this season, they're like, all right, we might be able to squeeze a lot out of this Lewis Hamilton scenario. We could maybe go and win the world championship here, or are Ferrari more concerned with constructors and like, it's really good actually to have Lewis Hamilton just constantly putting pressure on in qualifying, putting together really good race weekends, constantly finishing on the podium, and maybe we can let Leclerc, he's the guy we want to win all the races, and Hamilton can be like a brilliant number 2.
Maybe.
That doesn't rock the boat too much, and we can pull off a constructors championship. Because I have no idea. Hamilton's never, ever, ever, like, when he's felt competitive, been like, yeah, let the other guy overtake me. It's cool, man. he's not that driver. Unless he's suddenly new and different. But I think he's really going to fight for every point, Lewis. And I think he's not really. No,
of course he will.
He's going to treat it like it's his own team.
He's been spurred on a lot by all this chatter that he's too old, doesn't have the passion anymore. And some of that's been coming from Toto Wolff. And I think the first time Lewis gets a podium and Mercedes doesn't, he's going to be holding that trophy up and pointing and looking right at Toto and being like, look who's got the trophy now, bitch.
Yeah. And Ferrari's in a better position. They had a really good season last season. Yeah. They're just in a, and I think this is this could be it. But I feel similarly, like, the only other maybe interesting pairing from a, like, who's really good, who's even, Norris and Piastri. Norris is further into his career, better driver, I would argue, just on experience alone.
At the moment,
but they start even, and I think Piastri got under Norris's skin a couple of times last season, and I think Piastri's probably feeling even more comfortable at McLaren, and I think that there's gonna be something here. Maybe a little bit more. How will those papaya rules stand up if Piastri has a great start?
As entertaining as last year was, especially if you were a McLaren watcher, I think that it really sets the stage for this year to be better. Because there was a lot of times that sparks were flying last year, but there was also a lot of case to be made for restraint. But especially in the first few rounds of this season, that restraint will be off and the sparks will fly, and it'll all be there to play for. And both drivers will know that they need to establish themselves from the jump as the lead driver. And if things get tasty, the team needs to get behind whoever that driver is. So they'll both know that. Piastri knows what he needs to do. Norris knows what he needs to do and can do. But it's all to play for. And if they line up on, this is the thing I'm most excited for the first few races of this season is Norris and Piastri lining up next to each other at the start of the race. That is, I will be smiling from the end of qualifying to lights out every single weekend that happens.
Especially if in Australia, like Oscar he's not going to give up anything on that first straight at Melbourne. Like at Albert Park, he's just going to go for it. Like every Australian driver has, and probably fuck his race like every Australian driver does at Melbourne. But yeah, I also think that it's good for these first few races. It's always still a little bit fiddly. And I think that there'll be some congestion at the front. I think that you'll see Fernando Alonso. Aston Martin can't keep investing huge amounts of money in this team and getting some of the best talent and all this kind of stuff and not eventually kind of crack this, turn that top 4 teams into a top 5 and kind of split the field. Can they stop being the best of the rest and start being one of those actual contenders? And I think this is where Fernando Alonso is actually at his best, is that whilst everyone's still kind of working at his car, he could kind of just drive anything. And it wouldn't surprise me to see him ruffling some feathers and causing some problems for, basically McLaren, Ferrari, and Red Bull shouldn't turn up to Melbourne being like, it's just going to be us at the front there. I think Mercedes have worked it out probably a little bit. Aston Martin's working it out as well. And it's going to be really weird at the front for those first 3 races.
It's going to be weird.
So weird.
No, I think you're right. I think all the teams will go in thinking we have got to really scrap and fight for whatever we can get. Because if this season is anything like last season, it could be anyone's game to play for.
Oh yeah. And you've got some good drivers at some teams that are kind of making some moves. Like if we've got Carlos Sainz, they've been like, I can fucking take Antonelli. Like I'm not scared of any of these. Like
what's he going to do? Drive into the wall? I'm real scared. Poor Kiwi. Hope he does well. We're talking all around it, but I want to formalize this crap. I want to get in. I want us to actually put our money where our mouth is, as much as we have money or mouths. I want to actually set some predictions, and I think previous years we've been pretty loosey goosey.
Yep.
And then very congratulatory of ourselves, even if we were close. I would like to propose that we get a little more structured and have actual
write them down.
We will write them down. We will award points.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, most points wins something.
Yep.
And then I've got some proposals here for some things, and there's enough flexibility here that we can get, outside the box if we want. But there's a few things that I like. We should hit these things, and then beyond that.
Okay, hit me.
Because here we go. So the first one, Hamilton, Leclerc. Who is going to finish higher in the standings, Hamilton or Leclerc? We have to both be bold.
Fuck me, that's sickeningly hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you what I think and tell you the reasoning as well.
Okay.
I think Charles Leclerc is going to finish higher
because
I think that the Ferrari package is going to be really good and build on all the previous work, and I think Charles knows that car better. You?
I'm going to go Hamilton.
Oh, of course you did. You're such a Hamilton fan. Hamilton fanboy.
Yeah, famously always. Never wavered from being a Hamilton fanboy. Never hot or cold.
44 on your ankle.
I think that Hamilton will be more consistent, and I think that Leclerc will be a bit more hot and cold. And when Leclerc runs cold, or the team can't deliver what he wants or whatever, when he gets the shakes, he really gets the shakes. So I think Hamilton might edge Leclerc out a bit there. So I'm going Hamilton.
Hamilton, yeah, 8 out of 10 every race weekend, which is what I said before about like why I think they got him in, because I think that will help them towards their team goals.
We'll see.
We shall see.
Norris versus Piastri. Who is going to end up on top out of Norris and Piastri at McLaren? This is the last of the sort of head-to-head ones that I wanted to do.
Okay. I think Piastri's got him this year. I think Piastri's going to, on those days when McLaren has a really good weekend, I think Piastri's cooler of head and is all the better for the last season. And I think that Norris might have his eyes looking around the grid going like, maybe I could find myself in one of those in that Red Bull car, perhaps, or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. Wow. I think Norris is thinking about what his legacy in Formula One's going to be now. He's of odd enough age, and he's seen all these young guys come through. He's concerned with his with what people think of him. Doesn't want to be slighted. Considers himself the number one driver now. I think that Oscar Piastri's just going to shrug that off and be like, yeah, but I was going to let my driving do all the talking. So
imagine if he wins this weekend. My God, the scenes.
So annoying I wouldn't be there.
My thinking on this is that if McLaren are pretty like not the leading team this season, then Piastri has a better than average chance of beating Norris on points across the whole season. But unfortunately, I think the McLaren are going to be one of the leading teams, probably one of the top 2 teams for the year, right? Yeah. And I think that Norris is going to be leading that charge. So I'm backing Norris here.
Yeah, he does pretty well when he's if he gets a good qualifying, he can kind of get in front. Piastri's actually had a bit of trouble trying to catch him in those circumstances.
They're both good, but Norris has a better qualifying record, and again, it's about what is there for these drivers to do. Piastri has proven that he can overtake Norris on his day, but Norris has also proven that he can out-qualify Piastri on his day.
Can just be faster every weekend.
And then, if he can get through the first corner without losing a spot, he'll be home and golden. So I think McLaren will be one of the better teams, and I think that Norris will be leading the charge. And again, I'm backing Norris for more points. Okay. So there we go. We have a good spread here. This is tasty. If we had picked all the same things, imagine how boring it would have been. Exactly. I think there's room for a bit of other stuff here. This is constructors, so team. Which team's going to finish on the top? Which driver is going to finish on the top? Here we could spread out a bit more. I
think Ferrari's going to win the constructors this year. Poof. They've done it. I think they've got a good car. They've got
a good driver lineup.
Got the best driver lineup. Some might say.
Some say.
And I think that
many people are saying.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to. I think they've been working hard to iron out all their tactical Ferrari likes, Ferrari-isms. And I think that both drivers have a very clear, mandate. Like they've got real clear motivation. Like Leclerc wants to be Leclerc. Get in the Leclerc, Charles. Charles Leclerc is like, I'm the Ferrari guy. Okay, don't forget about it. And Lewis Hamilton's like, I'm not dead yet. I'm also really good. Just letting you all know. That's his tattoo
across his back. I'm not dead yet.
Yeah, and they both want Ferrari to do really well. So yeah, Ferrari for the
All
constructors.
right.
Rodney,
Ferrari.
tell me who it's going to
I'm
be.
just writing this all down. Constructors. Zach is backing Ferrari.
Rodney is backing Haas.
I mean, well, I mean, the obvious. What's the obvious one? McLaren. And probably Ferrari. Maybe the next, next hottest take. Do I go even hotter? I mean, the question is, will Red Bull pull it back this season with Liam?
With Liam? No, Liam's going to crash all the time because he's bad at overtaking, and he won't be able to qualify fast enough because everybody else is really good. So Liam will be getting DNFs.
Ruin Verstappen's side pod and flip him off as he goes down the straight.
If they just keep crashing into each other, that'd be so funny. Oh man, he gets fired so fast. And maybe we will get our dream of Tsunoda into the Red Bull team.
This might be crazy, but I'm going to go Red Bull.
Oh, you are crazy. Oh, I hope that's not the case.
Well,
because if they win the constructors,
I don't like I'm not happy about it. I'm as upset as anybody else.
Just what's going to happen if they win the constructors? You know what happens when they win the constructors title?
What?
They tend to win the drivers title too.
Well, you would think, but maybe not.
Okay, well,
depends on
let's do snake draft style. Let's come back to you then. Yeah,
okay.
Driver prediction. Yeah.
So this is crazy because I can't say Leclerc because I've already picked Hamilton to get more points than Leclerc. Don't want to pick Max Verstappen.
Yeah, you must have congruous.
I picked Norris. I'm gonna go Lando Norris.
Lando Norris. Oh, sickening.
Norris. I mean, you can go Norris too, but you can go whoever you want.
No. Oh man. I know she didn't say anything for Mercedes today.
Yeah, George Russell, but when you watch Drive to Survive season 8, it'll be like he won the championship.
Oh my god. Oh, I can't. It's making my tummy have little butterflies. I think it could be the double for Ferrari, and I think Charles Leclerc's going to win it.
All right, well, write it down.
It's going to be Charles Leclerc.
It
makes me really happy to think that he might do it. I think Ferrari's going to be really good this year. And I think if they're really good, I think it will come from Charles. And I think that at a certain point, Lewis Hamilton will actually be the guy that Charles needs in order to push him, learn from. I think Lewis brings the whole team up. And I think Charles is like, he got some monkeys off his back last year. He got the Monaco win, right? He's done that.
That's true.
Now, like, it's like, yes, I did it. I'm fine. They all love me. I love me. Now will Formula One love me back? I think this is it. Yeah.
I'm
I think
okay.
he's got everything.
You're okay. We're world champions.
Exactly. Charles Leclerc. Come on.
How about some wild cards? How about something really like from left field? Doesn't have to be this person will win or that person will anything you want to predict for the season.
Okay.
Sure, you can pick two.
Okay. I'm going to predict there will be 3 driver changes in the season.
Wow. Okay. So now that's driver changes, not just someone injured or sick, subs in. This is a driver change.
Mm-hmm. I think we're going to lose. I think we'll see Colapinto in the Alpine by the end of the season.
This is good. I'm liking this.
Yeah, Doohan's out.
So is that part of the 3 driver changes, Colapinto and one other, or do you want to just keep that loose?
When I said 3 originally, I did feel like there was going to be maybe like they'll drop someone to. I did kind of mean it as in like we'll see 3 other drivers in these teams in this season, not necessarily a full swap. But I think we'll definitely see. We'll see 100. Well, I think we'll see 2 full swaps and a third where somebody else is just driving in a different team.
So two legit. Swaps.
Form related. This driver is being subbed out, and we're putting this driver in.
And another one that's based on
we get a random driver.
2 based on vibes and 1 based on someone like lost their passport or something.
Yeah, had a baby.
And just couldn't show up. Had a baby. Yeah. Well, someone's having a baby, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. So, and who will come in to do that work? Who's going to be the driver, Rod? Who's the driver who subs in? Not some kid. It'll be Daniel Ricciardo will be the subbed in driver that weekend.
What about Valtteri Bottas?
Valtteri Bottas. Yeah,
that's going to be my prediction. Bottas will drive at least 1 race.
Yeah,
Bottas will drive at least 1 race. That. Not saying for Mercedes, could be for any team.
For any Mercedes powered team,
at least 1 race. Isn't he actually? I heard a rumor that he was going to be a reserve driver for 2 different teams. Did I make that
Oh,
up? Maybe
might be
Williams
true.
and Mercedes.
Yeah.
Williams and Mercedes, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Bottas will drive at least one race. Is my first wild card. Do you want me to
Yeah.
go another wild card so you can
I could
close
see
it
him.
off?
I
Or
could see Bottas racing for Carlos Sainz because he got poisoned. He got food poisoning at that
you
Stanley
got another
Tucci.
appendix. Oh my god, can you
That
believe
Stanley
it?
Tucci dinner table series.
Do you want me to do the second wild card?
Yeah,
So that
I
you
need one
can,
more. Yeah, I
like,
need another
don't
wild
want
card
to
from you.
You don't. I don't always have to be like.
Yeah.
Oh, you said that. Well, then I'm going to trump you and say this.
Do it.
Another
Give
wild
me-
card for me.
yeah,
Friggin'
come
hell. Okay.
Second wild card.
Something about. Let's say. What about Ollie Behrman? What's he going to do?
I'm looking at his name too.
Oliver Behrman will be in the points 3 times
Wow.
this year. Oliver Behrman will score points on three races. No, on 3 occasions, including sprint races.
Okay. Yeah.
On 3 occasions,
I'm here for that.
Oliver Behrman will score points. You got one?
Yeah, I think Kimi Antonelli's going to outscore Russell.
Oh, this is good. Antonelli will outscore Russell.
I think Antonelli's
he's
really
gonna be
good.
so upset, and he's
I
going to be
know.
able to do nothing about it.
Yeah, well, maybe Russell should shut up about fucking MAGA and maybe get back in his fucking box.
What does he not shut up about?
He's like, oh, Trump's not a bad guy.
Is he a MAGA? I know Norris does that.
No, he's not MAGA, but like not MAGA either.
But he's not MAGA, which these days I can't
Yeah,
say that.
and I don't know anything about Andrea Kimi Antonelli's political views, and I don't care. What I want is to see, it's more about Russell losing than it is.
The thing I want to
Antonelli
say
winning.
is so libelous. Even I won't say it.
Not even on live stream. So
No,
Kimi
can't edit
Antonelli,
that.
all we're going to say, keep it racing related. I think George
Mhm.
Russell is good, but it's over. And I think that Toto Wolff really wanted Antonelli in this car and has wanted him in the car for a while.
It's true.
And I think it's his new boy. It's his new son, Kimi Antonelli, and he's going to be really good.
My son. Well, there we go. That's our predictions. So we have Zach thinks Leclerc will score more points. I think Hamilton will score more points. Zach thinks Piastri will score more points.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, Zach thinks Piastri will score more points. I think Norris will score more points.
But
Zach is backing Ferrari for the championship. I'm backing Red Bull for the championship. Bit of a wild card choice in itself. Drivers, I'm backing Norris. You're backing Leclerc. And then
yeah,
your
I don't think it's a wild card
cards-
choice choosing the team that has the current Drivers' World Champion at it as your Constructors' Champion.
I just feel like that's no guarantee, and they just lost the championship. They
Yeah.
lost the unlosable Constructors' Championship
True.
last season.
True.
So that's
Okay.
where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And
then we got-
Liam is an unproven, and there's more competition than ever.
Maybe he'll be the change. Maybe he'll be the third team change.
Maybe he'll be the wind of change.
Yeah, exactly. Nice one.
Well, we've done all the F1 stuff. Anything else to wrap up the show? We've got a couple of minutes. I can stretch
Yeah.
my legs out and
Have you seen all the Oscar best
all
film
the Oscar
nominees?
Have I been seeing all the Oscar movies? Have I
Yeah.
been seeing all the Oscar? I don't think I've seen any of them. What have you seen? That's good.
Well, on my walk this morning with my wife,
You watched The Brutalist.
no, for the
Long walk.
with a rest in the middle. So let me reel them off. One of these isn't an Oscar nominee, but it's a good film. Seen
What were they?
the Brutalist.
Yeah. So I'm just going to look up
seen-
what were the nominees for Best Picture.
Brutalist, Substance. Know my name. They're my name. What's my name? What's my name again? What's my age again?
Nora?
I watched Nora yesterday.
Oh.
Real Pain. Emilia Perez
Sounds right.
and there's another one in there that I haven't seen. Can't remember.
Do I
Doesn't
need to
matter.
read them off so that we know?
No, because I can just tell you that. Oh yeah, read them off
Yeah.
because people are like,
know.
"Oh my god, you almost said them
So,
all."
spoiler alert, Anora won.
Yep.
Nominees, The Brutalist, A Complete
Mhm.
Unknown, Conclave,
Yeah, I've seen Conclave.
Dune Part 2, Amelia
Yep.
Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. I haven't seen a single one of those.
Yeah, and you haven't seen any of them, all 7.
Literally none.
Wow. I thought you were a film guy. I thought this is what
I
film chat
am,
was on this
motherfucker. Yes, I
podcast.
am, but
Yeah.
just not those
There's
films.
nothing from 2024, 25.
I
Okay.
will watch The Substance, but I'm also
Oh,
kind of in a
really?
hurry.
Interesting.
Of those, the Substance is the one want to see the most, and I don't know.
Okay.
I'm worried it's not going to be that good, but
I
I
think
might be
Honora
wrong.
might. I think Honora winning was right. Honora's excellent.
Okay, well I should watch Anora. I'll add Anora
Yeah,
to the
it's
films that I
excellent.
should
You can just
watch.
watch it on Prime. It costs like $4.
Hmm.
We go to
Other
the
than that, have
cinema.
you seen anything good lately?
Yeah, so The Brutalist. That was good.
Other
'Cause
than the nominees, yeah, the
it's
Brutalist.
really long.
Right.
And I really liked Bridget Jones and Mad About a
Mm.
Boy. That's that film. It was maybe the best rom com I've seen in the last 10 years. Although Rye
Nice.
Lane is really good as well, but
Okay.
not necessarily com as much rom. But this film made me cry. It was really it was really tight, really funny.
Hmm.
Loads of really good set pieces. Reese Witherspoon's great in it. Everybody's great in it. It's really good. I think you should go see it. If you have
Mm.
any like at all for the original Bridget Jones, which was snappy and smart and kind of silly, this film is that, and even more so. Forget about films 2 and 3, but this new one, it's great. It's really good.
Hmm. Yeah, cool.
And A Real Pain has really stuck with me. I keep thinking about it, even though it wasn't the best one. It's really good too.
Okay, it's interesting.
What about you? See anything interesting?
Well, the problem I had is I don't really rewatch movies much these days because I feel like there's so many movies I want to watch and so little time to watch them. I don't
Watch
revisit
anything?
a lot of movies, but I've been revisiting a lot of movies lately.
Okay.
Over Christmas, everyone was talking about their favorite Christmas films, and everyone was talking about Eyes Wide Shut. I was like, hell yeah, Eyes Wide
Oh,
Shut. That's really
what?
good.
Huh.
So I rewatched that, and then David Lynch died, so I've been watching some David Lynch
I haven't watched
movies
any
and
David Lynch. Should I? What do I have to watch, Rod? And I haven't
Mulholland
watched
Drive.
any Mulholland Drive. Yeah, that's what people say.
It's everyone's favorite one. It's the best one.
I haven't watched any Twin Peaks.
I went to the cinema to see Lost Highway with a mate of mine because I remember going to see Lost Highway in the movies, and the sound, like there's sound dynamics in that movie that are just like like your ears burst open. So I wanted to go and see that in the cinema to see if that would happen again.
Amazing.
It didn't quite, but it's anyway. And then something happened in the US with elections and certain political groups, and then I just had the urge to watch a bunch of Nazis getting killed, so I watched Inglourious Bastards.
Good.
And this is so different to everything else we've been talking about, but I've been watching this series called Terrifier, which is about
the clown
serial killer clown.
I see the ads for this when I go see
I've never
other
heard
films.
anything about it until Joker 2 came out, and they were like, hey, guess what? This indie movie about a killer clown is going to outgross Joker 2 because that's bombing so bad. And I was like, what is that about? And I watched a couple, and I don't mind them. They're very schlocky.
Good for Halloween. Should I hold them back for October 31st?
You should not watch that movie ever in your entire life. It's so not your thing.
The Terrifier. Oh, okay.
Yeah. No.
Wow. You do know
if
my
you watch
tastes,
it, you can't blame me.
Okay. No, I won't. Maybe this is the year. I've earmarked this year as the year of the classics. So there are a few classics I need to go and watch. So Mulholland Drive is going to go on that list.
Oh, okay. And then other classics. Do you need other classic recommendations?
12 Angry Men. I haven't seen that.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
I should watch that. I haven't seen any of the Godfathers.
Yeah,
or Goodfellas
really.
either. I haven't seen that Tarantino one, the first one.
Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs, yeah.
I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I didn't really like it.
Interesting. Okay, I liked it, but I think he needs to stop doing historical fiction now. That's enough.
Well, it's like a watered down version of Inglourious Bastards, really. So
the better film. Yeah. But it's nice to have Pitt and Leonardo acting next to each other. That's good. There's some really good pieces in that film, but the whole film, underwhelms, but isn't quite it, but there's some good scenes.
Whatever. Yeah, anyway, so that's been film talk. Still haven't watched, what's that other one? Megalopolis. Still haven't watched it.
No, I think that's going to go away.
I think that's dead. I think we bury that
You could do the double. You could watch 2 architecture films in one day, The Brutalist, and Megalopolis.
What a day. They'll talk about that
with
one for a long
regular
time.
Adrian Brody and new Adrian Brody.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
Well, Zach, maybe it's time to wrap this baby up. What do you reckon?
Absolutely. This is a long show to kick off the season.
Yeah, it's been a while. And I don't know when we want to do the next one because obviously there's a race this weekend. And then I guess the races are going to start coming at us thick and fast, right? 3
5
a.m.
a.m. 5 a.m. I think for me. I'll be in Milan, so 5
a.m.
a.m.
Great.
Sunday morning, having just been to the San Siro the night before to watch AC Milan play Como.
Stay up.
Far out.
Do the whole
I could
night,
stay
bro.
up. If AC Milan win, I could stay up all night with their fans and then watch the Grand Prix. We could, and then have a real Ferrari love-in. And then if Ferrari win the race, it would just be huge.
Australian Grand Prix this weekend, Chinese Grand Prix next weekend, Japanese Grand Prix, I think 2 weeks after that. And then
we're doing all of
the
APAC.
week after that. So we're really packing them in.
APACing
4 races
them
in 5 weeks. Yeah, we're APACing them in. So I guess maybe between the Chinese Grand Prix and the Japanese Grand Prix, we try and slot in a show there.
Yeah.
We'll see how we go. That's not quite a month. We usually try a month, but we'll see.
There might be a huge amount of stuff that comes out of Melbourne that we just desperate to talk about. So.
There might be stuff to talk about. We might do a live stream. I might do a live stream to cover little story bits that don't really fit into a podcast format. How about that?
Yeah, I really want to do a watch along this year as well.
What do you mean?
Of one of the races together. We'll watch it together and live stream it.
We'll pick a race that's in a favorable time zone.
Local. Yeah.
Maybe an evening one, because it'd be afternoon your time. That would sort of work. Like this sort
of time. Absolutely. Basically most of the European races.
Any race that starts before or at 10 p.m. would be fine.
Absolutely.
So we could do one or several of those.
Silverstone probably. It's probably the best one.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it's 1 o'clock.
You mean you're not going?
We'll see.
You travel. I didn't say anything about you traveling to another country and being like, oh, you're not going to the Grand Prix there. Ooh, okay.
I should check. There are a few countries I'm going to this year that there might be a race on.
I
want to go to San Marino this year, and maybe going for Imola is the right one to go.
Okay.
I was really close to Sepang Malaysia Grand Prix track when I was in Malaysia, coming home from the UK, home from Australia. Yeah, Sepang. All right, Sepang to my ass. Let's call it. Get out of here.
Nearly had ya.
Oh.
All right. You can follow us on Threads. We're at Super License F1. You can join the Discord. There's a link to the Discord on our website, which is superlicense.fm. This week, the FM stands for, Zach?
I think we're just straight back to Formula Men. Reset the season.
Vintage us.
Vintage Bortoleto.
Super License Formula Men. What else have I forgotten to mention? Oh, yeah. YouTube is links on the website as well.
Follow us on TikTok.
Get us on TikTok, yes, which is also there's links. Everything's on the website.
All there.
But if otherwise, we'll be posting out. I was nearly said tweeting out, but it's not tweeting. We'll be posting out stuff on the Threads and linking to most things in the Discord as well. So if you check out any of those, you'll probably get whatever is hot and ready to print.
Yeah, just enjoy the season, everyone. Just have a nice season.
Sign up for Fantasy F1. What's it called?
FantasyGP.com.
GPS, that one. Yeah, and I'll try. I promise I'll try.
Okay, fine. I look forward to you sending me a screenshot of your team. I want to know.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Good.
Yeah. Just all the rookies. Right. Team of rookies.
Rookie team. Rookie gold. And then McLaren for the constructor.
Say rookie gold, like rookie Goldberg. That's good.
Rookie Goldberg. There you go.
Did it all for the rookie.
One of their names. Maybe it's not too late.
Well, none of them are called rookie. You can't do anything with it. Like they're all rookies.
All right. Well, look, we'll see you all on Threads, and I hope everyone has a great couple of races until next we talk. And you know how to find us. Stay subscribed everywhere that you found us, or share it with your friends, share it with your neighbors, share it with your coworkers when they start talking about F1. And if they've watched Drive to Survive and they're like, oh my God, you can say, hey, I know something even better. Yeah. Because Rod and Zach, Super License.
What are you going to say? Formula One, the races. You should watch them.
They're watching the races and then listening to Rod and Zach on Super License. But until the next time we talk, my name's Ben Rod.
And my name's been Zach.
Time for me to hit some music, which I closed the window for, but I shouldn't have done that. And we're going to have a little couple of seconds where we can feel.
You're going to be like, this is like you. This is what Lewis Hamilton's like at Ferrari.
This is what it's like at Ferrari all the time. Where's the button? I don't know. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's in the can.